Call hello, Yahweh Bashim El Shai, Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great notes of the well. I am one of member, I've been into their labors, peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters, students, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is going to be a less interesting video here, but I want you to see. Yeah, we're just going to scroll over this, and basically it's just I prompted um, the AI tool here about showing me how 30-year mortgages works and comparing that to 50-year mortgages, and the constant will be the compounding interest, right? So say you only make your regular mortgage payment for a house at 6%, which is I think the going rate right now. You end up paying twice as much. Now, compounding interest on 30 years as opposed to 50 years is insane. It's outrageous. You paid for the house 3 times over. And I mention quite often that these scriptures, the biblical scriptures, they are manyfold, right? You can fit them into many different scenarios. But not only that, but you can apply them microcosmically and macrocosmically, meaning, big picture in life and in your personal, within your personal life. This is a living document. Not that it could be added or taken away from. It is a living document because there is nothing new under the sun, and everything that needed to be covered for this wretched life that we live has been covered. Okay, within within the books that were given to us. Man, what did I say? No flesh. Is it there? No shall be. And it's probably gonna come out wrong. Oh, okay, there we go. Matthew 24 and 22 here. Alright, and this is a big reason, one of many big reasons why the Lord is speeding up the time. Okay, so we'll just read 24 and 21. For there shall be a great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And this is monetarily, physiologically, psychologically, any which way you turn, you are bogged down. Perpetual slavery, and we are coming up close to the implementation of the digital, the injectable for the detectable. You will be a digital slave. You will own nothing and be happy. You will be in perpetual debt. And who's to say, right, that they will continue to push you farther into this debt? You will not pay off a 50-year mortgage, especially the way things are now. With UBI, right, Universal Basic Income, and its fraudulent cousin or brother, the Universal High Income, right? There's no, if they're allowed to continue, you will not be able to have a side hustle, right? You will be masked up and like cattle in perpetual interest. And you know who doesn't pay interest? A certain group of people, right? They don't pay any interest. And all of the tax dollars, we ain't even got into property tax. Certain states have property tax. Perpetual slavery. All right. So here's your formula here, right? So you got your principal at 300,000 monthly rate. Break it down by 12.6 because you have a 6% interest rate of 0.06. Okay. Number of payments 360 for 30 years. Monthly payments being at 1,700. All right. Look what you pay if you pay your basic, your minimum monthly payments instead of putting a little extra on there, which you can put. How many people have 250? To 350 to put on extra to bring that down, right? It is a systematic breaking down of society that we're seeing here. All right, so and then your dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. You still have to factor in your groceries. If your car breaks down, you got to factor in a car that costs the amount of a mortgage in the 90s, but it's a piece of shit, and the engine fails. Look, man, you see every little thing, every time, the scriptures will make you look into stuff like this, man, and that's why it's beautiful. How long, oh Lord, I think King David said that. All right, Psalms 13. There's a wretched existence, especially the more you know, right? Wisdom make him bring his sorrow. We'll get that too. To the chief musician, Psalm of David. How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord? Forever. How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel of my soul, have sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? And they exalted with this compounded interest that they make, and they take that money and go do all manner of wickedness around the world, right? He's given power to take peace from the earth, and that he does. What did I say? Damn, what did I say I was gonna get? Oppression maketh a wise man mad. That's what it is. That oppression, but then also with much sorrow or with much understanding comes much grief. There's another one we can get to. Ecclesiastes 7:7. Comes sorrow. Yep. So those two things. So it's 1 and 18. So we'll read 7 and 7 here. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So we'll go to the first chapter. It's 1 and 18. Alright, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Especially knowing how things should be, and knowing how they are, seeing how they are now, and you are helpless. You know, you gotta be let patience have a perfect work, right? First book of James. You gotta be patient in this thing, knowing where your help comes from, knowing where your salvation comes from. Because if you can do, now you can do things to better your situation, right? That's not what I'm saying, but an overall fix is what will come from what the scoffers would say, a sky daddy, right? Somebody coming out the sky to solve all your problems, right? That's what they love to scoff about. So here we go. Now, and who's to say that these interest rates won't even go even higher, or if your interest rates won't, or if your social quote unquote credit score won't dictate your interest rates, all right? Forcing people into housing that they cannot afford, so they go into the rented stuff, right, and own nothing and be happy. You can monetarily herd people, right? Just as you physically herd cattle into a pen, right? By blocking avenues of approach, you can block monetary avenues of approach and push people into a pen. They are doing it as we speak. All right. So look at only 12% lower than 30. So you would think that your monthly payments would be quite a bit lower, right? But it's only a $200, maybe $250 difference. Yet you've paid for this house thrice, almost 4 times over $1 million for a $300,000 house. Okay, and if you've been to any other country, they build these houses way better. Like especially in Nigeria, you get real brick and cement, and it's a sturdy house. While the houses that are made here that's who they make for the poor. But this is the freest country. We are we are the best, right? All right, monthly payments. Okay, we did that. How much worse for the consumer is what I ask. Okay, higher total costs. All right, so longer debt period, and the longer you're in debt, the more they make, the more money they make. Okay, to fund endless wars and propaganda campaign and taking peace from the earth, which is why we read the first scripture where it said that no flesh would be saved. Okay, opportunity cost, money tied up in interest could be invested elsewhere, right? So if you think that you're going to do your stocks, or maybe buy some real estate and have a rental property, good fucking luck. You will own nothing and be happy. Okay, it says they're rare in the US. They go to 30 or 40. However, they are trying to introduce a 50-year, which it will pass. Eventually it will pass, because it will put the people at a complete disadvantage, and make money for the greedy. So it will pass. So cons for the borrower, right? Higher total interest paid due to prolonged compounding, and compounding interest, right? Now, compounding interest is not your friend when you are in debt. Compounding interest, a good compounding interest would be a life insurance policy that you pay into. Alright, why this happening? It's calculate the outstanding principal each month. With longer term, the principal decreases more slowly, okay, since monthly payments are lower. Alright, for 20 years, that's all it is. So interest accumulated on large balance for decades longer. The interest on interest effect snowballs, making the loan far more expensive overall. You're essentially paying for the home multiple times over. Reduces your long-term wealth. You see that? And extra money could be saved. All right. Look at that. If inflation averages 2 to 3% annually, it might soften the blow on later plane payments, but the sheer volume of interest often outweighs this. Correct. All right. So we don't really want to get into the big numbers here. We're just looking at the multiple ways you can become a perpetual slave in Babylon, right? So this wasn't meant to be very long. Just a little highlight on one of the many ways, right? You will be subject to payments in the technocracy, right? If this place was allowed to continue for any longer than the Lord said it should, there is no winning, right? And call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The Lord said, O Babylon, who art to be destroyed. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Okay, this is simply put that it cannot continue. And we are in for a very interesting and bumpy ride. But the Yahushua prayed to Yahweh for us, right? They are thine, thine are mine. You can read in the book of John for that. And see that he prayed. So all you must do is maintain the faith. If you can better your situation in the meantime, by all means do so. But just know that you are a pilgrim. And this is not the end all be all, right? So I think we can end it. Pilgrims. Alright. I think that's it. Or is it? Yeah. 1 Peter 2 and 11. Alright. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers, 1 Peter 2 and 11. I don't know if I said that. Abstain from fleshly lust which war against the soul, right? So you got to be able to just kind of put these things off, right? If you get blessed with something, no, like at the end of the day, this shit gonna burn up anyway. So make use of it, make the best use of it, and take care of it while you have it, all right? Use it, but don't abuse it, all right? Having your conversation, gosh, honest among the Gentiles, and whereas that you speak against your evildoers, they may be your good. That's not it. But 2 and 11 was good. Okay. What else did we say? 5 and 14. Alright, greet you on it. Nope, that's not it. 16, second is 16 and 40. So we'll do that. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and then those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Yes, yeah. So we are about to witness, or the great evils are going to turn up even more, right, than what they already are. All right. He that selleth, let him be as if he had fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. Alright. And it goes in to tell you they that marry, alright, and they shall get no children, and they that marry not as widowers. Okay. So you see it right there. Just keep the main thing the main thing. Continue to put things in proper perspective. Alright. And focus on pleasing Yahweh Yahushua and seeking the kingdom of heaven, and everything else will be provided when it needs to be. All right, when it's time for you to have it, you will have it. But when it's time for you to lose it, just be okay with losing it. And of course, my spiritual sword is turned on myself, all right, before I bring it out to others. So I must eat my words as well. With that being said, Shalom.